Welcome back to our discussion. I'm Iotama.
And I'm Hannah, ready to dive deep today.
And I'm totally geared up to tackle a classic today. Snow White, but not just any old way. We're gonna really get into it, specifically through a psychoanalytic lens, which, wow, it's just so much fun, right?
Yeah, it totally is. And, a lot of people, they just think it's a simple, sweet story. But what's your most controversial opinion about this space? Just to kick us off.
Oh, my controversial opinion. Look, most gurus out there, they're selling dreams, not results, I'm here to tell you the truth today about fairy tales. It's way, way more than just a story about a princess and 7 little dwarfs. It's so fraught with subconscious symbols, it's mind-blowing.
So let's start with the opening scene, the blood.
Pricking her finger while sewing is significant.
Yeah, significant.
Fairy tales are essentially like dreams written down,
Wow, I love that. Dreams written down.
It symbolizes the onset of menstruation, right?
Yes, the transition from child to woman.
Which triggers the queen's jealousy immediately.
Yes, the mother figure sees a rival in the daughter.
Freud would call this an Electra complex variant.
Yeah. Or simply narcissistic injury for the queen.
And the magic mirror, that's like the superego's voice, it validates her worth based entirely on appearance. Once Snow White surpasses her, chaos literally ensues.
Chaos absolutely ensues.
Yeah, each attempt is more personal and direct.
Yeah. The queen is trying to stop Snow White's maturation.
Yeah, the apple is half red, half white.
Yeah.
Representing life and death, or love and innocence.
It looks delicious, appealing to the senses.
Just like the awakening of love.
The queen, she just cannot tolerate being second best, So she orders the huntsman to kill Snow White. It's pretty brutal, honestly.
I know, right? But he spares her, thankfully. He just can't bring himself to kill Innocence, which is, a moment of humanity. And the heart he brings back, it's a false trophy. It really shows that the queen, in a symbolic sense, she consumes youth. Literally, she wants to devour it.
Wow, that's intense. So Snow White, she flees into this dark, dark forest. What does that, really represent in the psychoanalytic sense?
The forest, it's the unconscious mind, Iotama. It's dark, unknown, full of danger, but it's also where transformation absolutely has to happen. It's this primal space. And that's where she encounters the dwarf's cottage, It's almost like she's going into herself, into the unknown parts to figure things out.
The prince doesn't kiss her in the original Grimm fairy tales.
That's right. The apple piece is in fact dislodged by movement.
What follows is that the queen is forced to dance in hot shoes.
A form of punishment for her narcissism.
Bettelheim wrote extensively about this tale.
He focused on sibling rivalry and Oedipal issues.
What we have here, a roadmap for psychological growth.
From dependence to independence, and even to interdependence.
The colors red, white, and black are also important.
Blood, snow, and the raven window frame. Yeah.
And
this is what
makes the story universally resonant.
It's about becoming a complete woman, not just happy.
Yeah. She does not seek validation of value of self-worth from the mirror.
Her worth is internal, not external. It's about those things that are
not external, from the outside world like money, which is why she survives the queen's attacks.
Until the apple, which targets her curiosity.
Curiosity is the catalyst for experience.
She was tempted to eat the apple, and this presented to her a chance of growth.
She traded innocence with wisdom.
This aligns with the biblical Eden story.
Knowledge comes with a heavy price tag.
Yeah. But it is necessary to understand its implications to the world.
Okay.
Right, so it's not just a physical journey, it's an internal one. And these 7 dwarfs, that's a very specific number, isn't it? 7. It's not just random.
Totally. A person might see them as different aspects of the self, or perhaps stages of labor and development, different parts of her evolving psyche. The dwarfs, they make her clean and cook for them, which it's a domestication of her new womanhood. She stays safe, but she's also like kind of stagnant, underground, almost like a prolonged adolescence in the womb. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I totally get that. It's like she's safe, but she's not really living, is she? And as the dwarfs set off to their daily tasks, they like warn Snow White not to let anyone in. It's a classic warning, right?
It is, but her internal drive to grow, it's just stronger. It really has to be. Otherwise, the story just stops there. And that's why the queen returns 3 times to tempt Snow White. It's this escalating series of tests,
3 times. First with like the laces, tightening her breath. Then a comb, which, that's grooming and vanity issues, right? And then finally the apple, the forbidden fruit. Each attempt, it's just so much more personal and direct, isn't it?
Absolutely. The queen is just really trying to stop Snow White's maturation, her development into like a fully formed woman. And that apple, it's half red, half white. That's really significant. It represents life and death, or love and innocence. It's all wrapped up in that one single bite.
So Snow White, she accepts the apple despite all the warnings. Is that like her desire for knowledge or something else?
It's definitely that desire for knowledge it promises. It looks delicious, appealing to the senses, right? But it's also like the awakening of love. She's moving into this new phase. But when she takes that bite, she falls into a death-like sleep immediately. This is a symbolic death, really, before rebirth as an adult. It's just like this huge pivotal moment for her.
So the dwarves, they've returned, and they can't wake Snow White. They only mourn, and then they place her in a glass coffin, which, that's such a striking image. What's that all about?
Oh, the glass coffin is, it's everything. Glass allows viewing, right? Like an exhibit to the public. But Snow White, she's preserved in beauty, untouched. Time just completely stops for her inside that coffin. She's not dead, but she's not fully alive either. She's in a liminal space for psychological processing. It's this a state of suspended animation, waiting for the external world to force change again, until the prince arrives on the scene. That's when things really shift.
Right, the prince. Now the prince, he represents the animus, doesn't he? The male counterpart, like the internal masculine principle that's going to activate her. But he doesn't actually kiss her in the original Grimm fairy tales, does he?
No, he doesn't, actually, that's right. The apple piece in the original, it's dislodged by movement, like when his servants are carrying the coffin. But the Disney version, of course, popularized the kiss between the prince and Snow White. And that really emphasizes romantic rescue over true self-actualization, which psychoanalysis kind of favors, It's about that internal awakening. The bad spell of the evil fruit, it must be expelled from within by her own inner workings almost.
So the prince doesn't just magically fix her then? It's more of an internal or an accidental external catalyst for an internal shift? And then what happens after that? What follows for the queen?
Well, what follows is that the queen, she's actually forced to dance in hot iron shoes. It's a form of punishment for her narcissism, really. It signifies the destruction of the old woman so that Snow White can fully inherit her life. It's quite poetic justice for her cruelty. She danced with envy, now she dances with this tool of her own undoing. This ending is often made soft in modern versions, and with that softening, the lesson itself is softened, But the psyche, it understands what this means symbolically. The old self must die for the new to live.
Wow, that's really intense. I didn't realize that original ending was quite so gruesome, actually. But it makes sense in a symbolic way. And Bettelheim, he wrote extensively about this tale, didn't he? What was his main focus?
Yeah, he did. He focused a lot on sibling rivalry and edible issues. He saw the dwarves as really safe male figures for Snow White. Sort of like, those non-boyfriend relationships you might have during high school, like friends who are guys but not romantically involved. They allow Snow White to mature without external pressure, until she is well and truly ready for the prince. It's a stepping stone, a place for her to grow up without the dangers of other male figures.
So what we have here then is almost like a roadmap for psychological growth, right? from dependence to independence, and even like to interdependence ultimately.
Absolutely, Iotama. And the colors red, white, and black, they're also super important, right? Like the blood, the snow, and the raven in the window frame. These colors, they map the stages of life and death, and also the integration of the shadow self. The queen in the story, she's actually Snow White's shadow side. The queen is an aging, powerful, yet destructive woman. So Snow White must integrate that power, but she has to do this without the narcissism and cruelty. And that, I think, is what makes the story universally resonant. It's about becoming a complete woman, not just like happily ever after, you know?
That's such a great point. And we should also consider the father's role in the story. He's conspicuously absent from the narrative, isn't he? His absence, it just leaves the daughter so unprotected, forcing her to face the evil queen alone. This, it really amplifies the intensity of the conflict between Snow White and the queen. It's a pure dyadic struggle for identity.
Yeah, it totally is. And the dwarfs, they also represent industry and work, right? Grounding her in reality away from vanity, since the dwarfs' work is away from vanity, you know? They live in the earth mining for jewels. They're searching for value beneath the surface, much like a psychoanalysis digs into the psyche, uncovering hidden treasures in the dark. It's like this whole process of unearthing deeper truths about herself.
That's a really good parallel. The dwarfs digging into the earth, like we're digging into the psyche. So the coffin itself, that's like a crucial transitional object in the story, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. It holds Snow White between a state of life and death. She's not dead, but she's not fully alive either. She's in a liminal space for psychological processing. And in the original story, as the prince's servants carry the coffin away, the servant stumbling actually causes the piece of apple to dislodge from Snow White's mouth, which suggests that fate played an important role in her awakening. Not only that, but the movement itself actually breaks the stagnation.
So it's not the kiss, it's just like the jolt of movement that kicks it all off. And then once the evil has been cast aside, Snow White agrees to marry the prince. This, of course, signals her acceptance of adult roles, right?
Yes, exactly. And the queen is even invited to the wedding feast. But she's unaware that punishment awaits her because she must wear those iron shoes, heated in fire. This becomes the tool for her destruction. It's actually poetic justice for her cruelty. She danced with envy. Now she dances with this tool of her own undoing. And while this ending is often made softer in modern versions, with this softening, the lesson itself is softened. But the psyche understands what this means symbolically. The old self must die for the new to live. It's like a total transformation.
Wow, what a journey. Let's talk about the number 7 again, just quickly. Why do you think that's so significant?
Well, it's a number of completeness in mythology. I mean, there are 7 days in a week, 7 colors in a rainbow, you know? It suggests a full cycle of development. Snow White lives with them for a long time, and this clearly indicates that maturation takes a very, very long time. It's not an overnight transformation process. Patience, it's really required for psychological healing. And the mirror never lies to the queen, right? Truth is what ultimately destroys her narcissism, preferring delusion over the painful truth.
Right, the truth is just too much for her. Whereas Snow White, unlike the queen, she just accepts her beauty humbly, doesn't she?
Yeah, she really does. She does not seek validation of her self-worth from the mirror. Her worth, it's internal, not external. It's about those things that are from within herself, like love, self-acceptance, not external things, from the outside world, like money or power, which is why she survives the queen's attacks. Until the apple, which actually targets her curiosity. And curiosity, Iotama, it's like the catalyst for experience. She was tempted to eat the apple, and this presented to her a chance of growth.
So she kind of traded innocence for wisdom then, in a way, which this totally aligns with the biblical Eden story, doesn't it?
It absolutely does. Knowledge comes with a heavy price tag, but it's necessary to understand its implications for the world. We can't stay in the same intermediate phase forever. There just must be growth, inevitably.
Wow. Hannah, thank you so much for analyzing this story with me. This has been a fantastic deep dive.
Anytime, Iotama. It was a pleasure digging into the psyche with you. This is what I just absolutely love to do.
Awesome. Join us next time on our fairy tale discussions, everyone. We've got more coming.
I look forward to discussing again, Iotama.
She does not seek validation of value of self-worth from the mirror.
Her worth is internal, not external. It's about those things that are
Not external, from the outside world like money, which is why she survives the queen's attacks.
until the apple, which targets her curiosity.
Curiosity is the catalyst for experience.
She was tempted to eat the apple, and this presented to her a chance of growth. Queen is trying to stop Snow White's maturation,
The apple is half red, half white. Yeah.
representing life and death, or love and innocence.
It looks delicious, appealing to the senses.
Just like the awakening of love.